Well, thank you very much, AnneMaries, for being our very first guest on YPO Takes the Stage.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm delighted to be the first.
Absolutely. No one better.
It can only get better from here, promise.
No.
No. So, to get to know you a little bit better, what is one thing you have learned or started doing since lockdown that you didn't do before?
Oh my goodness, what have I started? It's more what have I stopped doing? I think, so what have I started doing? Spending more time with my son Patrick, who is 14. That has been one of the absolute silver linings out of this whole situation, has been that reconnection with the family. So that's been great, actually. So yeah, that is something I have really, really enjoyed.
Amazing. With all the disconnection with work and everything, you do find so much more connection with family. So that's really lovely.
Yeah, and also kind of keeping fit and trying to, that kind of thing has been, you've got time for things that you never had time for before, and perhaps should have been your main priorities. So that's been good too.
Have you braved any of PE with Joe, of Joe Wicks's videos?
No, that's far too energetic for me. I tell you what, I have started doing that is the best fun. Is an online dance class.
Oh, that is fun.
It's amazing. Really, you work really hard. You don't know you're working hard because you're trying to keep up with the steps. So I'm learning how to jive. I'm learning how to do the samba. Next time I go to a YPO social event, we have to dance. I'll wow you all with my dancing technique.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I might come over for lessons prior.
Amazing. I love that.
It's such fun.
It's so good.
That's so good. So on to a bit about your industry. So obviously that's what we're here for. Kind of why recruitment? Was it something you always had an interest in? Was it something you kind of fell into, or what's?
Completely and totally fell into it. Had no idea what recruitment was. Actually, I'll share a secret. When I was at school, I wanted to be an air stewardess. I actually did French and Spanish so that I could be an air stewardess. And then by the time I got to 16, it became clear I was only ever going to be 5'2", and that was too small. You had to be 5'4". So my dreams were crushed at an early age. So I went into further education, left further education, and didn't really know what I wanted to do, and took a role with a really small recruitment agency in Scotland. And I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. And they were a great company. They gave me the opportunity to grow and develop my skill set. And that's where I learned my trade. And it was amazing. And I've loved it ever since. I wouldn't change the experience that I've had in this industry. It's been amazing.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's so great. So have you kind of, like, since you started out, and I guess probably over the past year, it's been pretty wild, the whole hiring process and recruitment industry. Have you seen, like, how's it changed kind of since you started?
Since I started the business?
Yeah,
my goodness, the changes have been incredible. So I mean, I think that what we do as an industry hasn't changed that much, in the sense of, we're experts at matching people with companies and jobs. So that's remained the same. However, the delivery mechanism and the day-to-day activities have changed, completely in the time that I've been in the industry. I've been in the industry for 30 years, so it was a long time ago. So when I started in the industry, a typical day would be, you'd get into the office in the morning, desperate for the mail to come in, because you would have all your CVs coming in the mail. You'd have a yellow pages, a telephone, and a bundle of candidate CVs, and then you would literally be phoning up companies that you had no idea, didn't know what they did, who they were, to see if you could tout for business. And it worked, we found success doing that. However, nowadays the business model has completely changed in the sense of the delivery mechanism. So I would say that the biggest impacts on that are technology and I think expectations. So talk about technology first. You know, I come into the office now, we have a CMS system, which is an intelligent search engine. So we plug in a client's needs to that system and out pop all the candidates who match the expectations that the client has. We have access to online job sites, so like S1 and Indeed, where we can actually go and harvest candidates from those websites as well. And then things like LinkedIn, where you know, that's been a brilliant tool for the recruitment industry. You now have a global reach, so you can recruit for anyone, anywhere, with anyone, anywhere. So that's been amazing. So what that's also opened up for us as an industry is passive job seekers, so people who are not actively looking but might be interested. So you have the ability to connect with these individuals, which is great. So what I would say is what's happened from that perspective is, you know, moving from a very limited space with a limited number of clients that you could work with within a limited geography. Now you could basically do anything globally that you want to do, which is a great opportunity. The second part of the puzzle, I guess, is the expectations. So when I started in recruitment, our service was a one size fits all. You know, you talk to us about your vacancy, we'll give you candidates. That's what we do. And we'll follow a process, and that process is the same for every customer. What we're seeing nowadays is that there is much more customization expected, both by candidates and by clients. So from a candidate perspective, candidates are much more proactive about what they want to do. They are very clear about what their goals are in the process, and they expect to be dealt with quickly, respectfully, as they should, and they expect it to be customised to them. With clients, they no longer need that full recruitment service in many cases. So we'll be talking to customers now where we'll be picking up on parts of the recruitment process for them that they perhaps don't have the resources to do themselves. So it might be that we support them with interviewing, or we support them with CVs, or we support them from a sort of managing the process perspective, or indeed some customers just want to outsource the whole thing altogether and have, you know, an organisation deal with it, to turn it on and turn it off when it suits them. So I think the three things for me in that side of it has definitely been this, you know, the speed of response that we have to now work with, the agility of what we do, and the hyper personalisation and the ease of use are the kind of three things now that drive our industry.
That's so interesting hearing all the changes, because it's massive. It's unrecognizable almost how that's changed. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I remember standing at a fax machine faxing CVs.
That's mad.
And then the modem would go down. Yeah, it's changed. It's changed for the better. Absolutely.
You can do make websites that have your CV on them now, and all sorts.
Yep.
It's crazy. Video CVs.
Yep.
Yeah, video CVs, I guess, are quite good, seeing as we don't actually get to see anyone in person anymore. It's quite nice to see your face.
Yeah.
I don't think you can actually beat that face-to-face interaction, and you know, that will definitely come back. But I certainly think that technology has really pushed us forward in terms of our journey in digital technology has been pushed forward by the pandemic, because we've had to, you know, get used to all these new ways of working.
I know, absolutely. You can't just be someone that doesn't have any tech skills anymore, because you'd just be sitting in your house doing nothing. So it's probably spurred some people on to learn a lot.
Yeah.
An abacus, 1, 2.
Learn every card trick in the box. That's so good. So I imagine recruitment can be a super rewarding job. Is there any standout moments that you think are really inspiring that you've dealt with?
It's an interesting question, Hannah. I can't, you know what, I can't think of just one experience. There's so many. Recruitment is such a rewarding industry to be involved in, because you positively change people's lives. You know, you get someone that amazing role, that changes their career. You find a brilliant candidate for a client that changes the strategy and structure of their business. So there's, it is intensely rewarding. It's one of the great things about the industry is that you do get that kind of feedback on what you do and the value that you add, which is amazing. And whether that's, I had a call the other day from a candidate I placed in the job 15 years ago, who's now retiring and wanted to phone me to say, that changed my life, that role, that company that you put me into changed my life. It was the best part of my career. It's allowed me to retire a little bit earlier. Thank you. So that's really, really amazing. I
Even
find
me
it incredibly
goosebumps.
I know, it's
Quite
incredible, isn't it? I know. It is. It's quite emotional, really. When you hear stories like that. So, yeah, it is a rewarding career. It is inspiring. It is engaging. It's hard work as well. But that is one of the great things that you can actually see and touch and feel what you've done to help people.
Absolutely.
Wow. So correct me if I'm wrong, Anne-Marie, but you specialise in engineering and manufacturing.
Yes, I do.
And I imagine it was, or at one point, a very male-dominated industry. Has that kind of changed over the years? And would you kind of like to see more women in these industries looking forward, or?
Absolutely. And something I'm really passionate about actually is getting more gender diversity into the manufacturing and engineering sector. I think it has, since I started, it has changed. That's for sure. When I first started in the industry, because I've always recruited in these sectors, in the technical sectors, you would go and visit a customer and you very rarely saw a woman. And if you did, they tended to be in the kind of administration type roles. It was completely male dominated, almost exclusively. That's changed, but in my opinion, there's still a long way to go. So I think recent UK ONS stats that I was looking at recently have shown that within the manufacturing sector, the gender split is 76% male and 24% female. Now, clearly, that's an issue. If we look at our wider society, that's not the gender split in society. So clearly, there's still a long way to go. And there's been a lot of initiatives that have helped that to happen over the years. We've had a real push from employers, companies that I work with, clients that I work with, who engage, with schools and universities, attracting particularly females to come and do apprenticeships, graduate trainee programs. So, that pipeline at the front end of females coming in is certainly beginning to fill up, I think, a lot more than it has in recent times. You have industry federations who, again, getting it in at school level, because the real issue that we have with getting women into engineering is that girls are not choosing science subjects at school. So therefore, when it comes to choosing a university course, they can't get onto the courses that are about engineering. So we've had a big STEM push: science, technology, and engineering and math, electronics and maths. So we've had that real push from the government. So yeah, things are changing for the better. But I think that we've got a long way to go. And some of the things that I think we should be looking at more that would help women to work in these organisations. So I still think that engineering and manufacturing companies have really tried to make this right, but flexible working is a huge thing. And it's quite difficult in the manufacturing sector because you've got people producing goods that need to go out by a certain time, and you've got shift working and all that kind of stuff. However, I definitely think that we could do more. Flexible working, parental leave, career breaks, supported learning. I think these sorts of initiatives would make it more comfortable for women, but also, value the diversity that women bring to your organisation. There's loads of stats out there globally about companies who have more diversity at board level are more successful. Bottom line, profit figures are better. So for me, actually, I think that's a big part of it as well. And additionally, one of the things also in our sector that we're guilty of is only wanting to hire people who come from the same type of industry. And I think that a lot of our employers are missing out on a trick. Because if you're a great leader in hospitality or financial services or banking or whatever it may be, those leadership skills are transferable. So I think there needs to be a push to look at women who have experience in other sectors that is transferable into the engineering and manufacturing sector.
That's really encouraging to hear, I'm sure, for people, especially given the past year and all the redundancies that have been made, and kind of people, I guess the job market is just not ideal at the minute, and people looking for whatever, but kind of knowing that you're not being pigeonholed into one specific area, I'm sure is really, really encouraging to hear. And kind of going back to what you were saying about flexible working hours, do you think maybe one positive out of COVID is that this is something everyone has to have adjusted to? Do you think looking forward, even when we coming out of this might actually help women in the engineering and manufacturing industry?
Yeah, absolutely, Georgia. I mean, it's pushed the thinking on considerably. You know, many organisations who thought, well, that wouldn't work for us, or we can't do that, have been forced to do it and make it work. So for me, actually, that is another silver lining from the pandemic, is that organisations now are embracing this flexible working pattern, and that can only help women to get into these sectors that they've really struggled to make an impact in.
Absolutely. Breaking down some barriers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so good. There's silver linings in all the dark clouds.
Always look for them.
Always look for them. So I guess a little bit more about YPO, seeing as this is who we're chatting to. What kind of, if at all, if not, if you haven't benefited, don't worry, we can edit it out. We're completely in control. But has YPO benefited you personally or professionally? And kind of what's been your biggest take from your membership, and why would you, if you do, encourage people to kind of get involved?
Yeah, I mean, YPO, I've been in YPO now for 7 years. I wish I had found YPO earlier in my career. Yeah, it's completely transformed lots of different ways that I do things. So, you know, I am so grateful and thankful for having had this experience. I think if I was to distill it down, because there's so much involved in YPO, there's so much that you can enjoy and get involved in if you want to. I think the two things for me, if I think about it, would be education and the network. Those for me are the two biggest take homes. And I think that the issue, I suppose, around about that is, you know, let's look at what has happened in the last year. Who knew how to deal with a pandemic from a business perspective, and even personally, how, you know, we didn't know. So in that time, YPO for me has been amazing in terms of that network, being able to pick the telephone up or Zoom someone or message someone anywhere in the world and share an issue, problem, challenge with them and get some feedback, advice, guidance. It's been absolutely amazing. I can't think of any other organisation, membership organisation, that has that network that we can access. From an education perspective, obviously education's at the heart of what YPO does. It's about learning and constant learning, and so I've been really lucky to get access to events that I would never have been able to get access to otherwise. So hearing from leadership gurus, business gurus, you know, people far more intelligent than me and far cleverer than I am, and just stealing their ideas basically has been amazing. So, you know, things like strategy, marketing, leadership, all of those things. We've had events around about those things which have, you know, 2 or 3 things that you bring back has a real impact on your own business. So for me, that's amazing. Forum is, I suppose, still, I think, the big diamond of the YPO, in the sense of having that group of people who you know you can talk to in confidence about any business or personal issue that you have, and you know that it won't be judged and that they are there to support you. So that level of confidentiality that YPO brings really helps you to form those very, very strong bonds. The other thing that I would say about YPO is, unlike other organisations that I have been involved in, because I've always wanted to be out and involved in organisations from that learning perspective, is that YPO isn't a boys' club. And that is a great thing for me, because what I find with YPO is that everyone is accepted, regardless actually of race, gender, creed, whatever. You are accepted and appreciated for the value and insights that you bring to YPO. So for me, I think biggest take home is the networking education.
Amazing. Thank you so much, AnneMaries.
Yeah, it's my safe space.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. I guess I think that's kind of all we have time for, but maybe our last question would be, you kind of mentioned about all the amazing events that YPO has given me the opportunity to attend. Has there been anything particularly stand out that you just thought, oh my God, this is incredible? Like, what
I
experience?
think, can I say two? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
I think when we had Professor Steve Peters come talk to us, who is a famous author and just an amazing man. And he talks about managing yourself. And he wrote a book called The Chimp Paradox, which is about controlling your survival tendencies and keeping those survival tendencies out of your workplace, because those survival tendencies make you territorial, jealous, aggressive. That was brilliant for me, because I went into that education event thinking, oh, I'm not a chimp, I'm a self-actualized, successful female entrepreneur. And actually at the end of it, I was like, oh my God, I'm 70% chimp. So that was absolutely great for me, because that was impacting my ability to be successful, really genuinely impacting negatively. So that was brilliant. The other thing is that I've joined an international women's group. So there are women from all over the world. We meet up once a year, and I'm absolutely devastated that we couldn't meet up this year in a country somewhere. And we basically get together as a group, and we do a mini forum, and we tackle big issues around about our businesses, our family, and that has been absolutely amazing. These women are incredible. So those are the two things for me that stand out.
Oh, amazing. That's so nice to hear. Thank you so much for your time today, AnneMaries. It's been
You're
great.
welcome.
I can't wait for this to be posted. It's been a great first episode.
I know, thanks so much. I'm going to go and read Chimp Paradox and hopefully become an entrepreneur next week. I'll probably be 100% chimp.
Oh, it's honestly, it's amazing. You should. And if we're actually going on retreat, Hannah, in November. We've organised a retreat, and we're going down to do more chimp stuff.
Love that. That'll be so good.
Get rid of the chimp altogether. Thanks so much. That has been fabulous. If there's anything else you need, just let me know.
Oh,
Okay, will do.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Take care for now, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.